Hey guys, welcome back to Hands On Channel. I'm out here doing a woods walk to clear my mind because it was bitching cold and I didn't really want to get out here and do a bunch of tractor work today. It's really windy and the kind of work I'm doing is box blade work. So anyways, I needed to take a day off and just kind of get out here and just walk around, enjoy the property, clear my mind, get away from the news, because I'm sure you guys have heard already this treasonous stimulus package that they've passed, and it's tied in with an omnibus bill, which is another thing I'm totally opposed to. But yeah, they're basically spending all our money just hitting print as fast as they can. They're going to devalue the dollar. I guess that's the plan. It seems that both parties are in on it for the majority. I mean, you got a few people like Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, Mike Lee. Those people, you know, did the right thing and voted against it. And I don't know who the House guys are yet, or gals, that voted against it, but I'm sure there were some. But the problem is, it doesn't matter. It's going to pass unless Trump vetoes it. And even if Trump does somehow, you know, let's say Trump vetoes this thing and everything's like just goes away and they have to go back to the drawing board and it slows it down at least. Well, guess what? If Biden gets in there, he won't veto it. Every spending bill they ever dream up, they'll pass, and they you know, because there are people out there that don't understand basic economics. You know, you can't just keep hitting print. It devalues the dollars that are in circulation. And they know this. The smart people out there, they know this. So that leads me to believe that they're doing this intentionally, guys. You know, I've said before, I thought we were at the verge of losing the republic, and I think we've already lost it. I think we've already lost it, and I don't know what to do about it. I'm super upset about it, and, you know, really on the verge of depression, just because, you know, it's something I love. It's something that I'm old enough. I was raised in a generation where, you know, we respected the founding fathers. We wanted to aspire to be like them as far as, you know, the good attributes. Sure, there were some bad attributes about some of them, but that's every person, guys. That's every human being on earth, and you know that. We all have them. I have bad characteristics and attributes that I don't share with you here on the YouTube because, you know, I wouldn't want to continue those things and have other people that possibly could look at that and go, hey, I want to do that, what he's doing. You know, so obviously you're getting a window into my life. And so I'm not perfect is what I'm saying. Surprise, surprise. Nobody is. Trump's not perfect. You know, as far as I know, there's only ever been one perfect person on this earth. And it feels like he may be coming back pretty soon, at least based on the stuff that I see, you know, but this stimulus bill thing is the latest deal, this omnibus stimulus bill. I mean, I think the reason it's such a big deal now is because we're all forced to look at it. All the billions and hundreds of billions of dollars that they're sending out to, you know, these foreign countries for, you know, whatever, to study cow farts on the environment or whatever. It's really windy, guys. Sorry if that picks some of that up, but I'm trying to turn around and keep you guys out of the wind as much as possible. But you know, something about studying fish and studying all this other stuff. I mean, what happens when trees fall in the forest? What's the effect on the environment? You know, billions of dollars on that. You know, foreign aid that's going to end up being used to weaponize other countries. You know, Pakistan, something about gender studies and stuff like that. I mean, is that really, for one thing, any of our business? But for two, should we be funding it? No, not unless we're into globalism. Not unless we're into, you know, just ruining the United States of America, because that's what they're doing with all of this crap. You know, one of the most atrocious things I heard in the whole deal was that they're going to give something in this latest stimulus bill. They're going to give illegal aliens, non-citizens, not only $600, but the $1,200 from the first go around. So they're going to supposedly get $1,800, non-citizens. Well, meanwhile, the American people, some of them, you know, a smaller and smaller percentage every day, are still taxpayers. And meanwhile, guess what the taxpayers are getting? The shaft. And if you think things are going to get better, if Biden gets in there, you're living in some sort of a delusion. You must be living in like a Willy Wonka land or something, or, you know, some candy land where, you know, the houses are made of gingerbread and icing and stuff like that, and real tragic shit never happens. because you just can't be realistic. There are what, hundreds of thousands of examples, millions of examples of dead people starved to death, killed openly by communists and socialists. Yet that's what one side is marching toward. And it appears that both sides, to a degree, are marching towards that same objective. And that's what really ought to cook your noodle and scare you, because, I come from a red state, so I would have thought my guys would have voted against such an atrocious pork-stacked bill with 5,800 pages that none of them read. I would have thought my guys would have had the, common sense to vote no on that, but they didn't. They voted for that, So what did your guys do? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to call and give them hell and be like, are you a socialist? Are you trying to wreck the dollar? Are you trying to destroy the value of the dollar? Is that your objective? And if you live in one of these states that, you've been locked down and such, you need to check out Chris Ann Hall and their movie and their videos about non-compliance, peaceful non-compliance. It's time, guys. Don't stand for this stuff anymore. They can only do what we allow them to do. We are many, they are few. Know your rights. Go get a pocket constitution if you need to. Whatever you have to do. Even I don't remember all of them. There's a lot of stuff there to it. So know your rights and study those and what they mean. Because if you don't know them, you won't know they've been stolen from you. That's my fear. I'm afraid that we've been so dumbed down as a society for so many decades now that especially younger people, but even people in my generation, Generation X, a lot of them woke up, but a lot of them never did. I still see people, I run into people that I went to high school with or whatever, and they're still in this liberal utopia, whatever. I don't know, guys. I wish I had the answers. One thing I do know is we're headed down the precipice towards basically a point of no return. Once we go over that cliff, there'll be no Constitution. There'll be no Bill of Rights. You won't have a Second Amendment. I won't have freedom of speech. You won't have freedom of speech. So these videos won't exist. Conversations like this won't be allowed with your closest buddies in confidence in your own home. You won't be allowed to have these things. Oh, don't believe me? Alexa's spying on you. All these other stupid things that people brought into their homes. Your cell phone is spying on you. I said something in conversation to my wife a few days ago about some product that I was considering shopping for. And I kid you not, a day or two later, on my Facebook feed, I believe it was, and I never typed anything like this into my Facebook. A day or two later on my Facebook feed, all of a sudden, I'm being advertised that stuff. And if it just happened one time, I might think, oh, that's a really weird coincidence. But this happens quite often. They're listening to us, guys, everywhere we go. Everything we do is being monitored and stored and saved. For what? I don't know. Right now, they can't use it against you. What happens when the globalists take over? What happens when there's a social, what do they call it over there in China, where you've got this like internet social score or whatever, and if you don't have a good social score, you basically can't get a job. You're unemployable at that point. Then what are you going to do? If somebody labels you certain things and they're like, hey, this guy's right wing. He used to be a Trump supporter. We can't bring him in. He loves freedom. We don't want people that love freedom around here. That's what the communists do. That's one of the reasons. I think that's the primary reason that they're anti-Christian, anti-religion in general. The communists is because they know that, Jesus teaches people to seek freedom and to be free, Oh, guys, I wish I knew what to tell you. Things are rough right now. I'm trying to keep my head up and keep positive. And I find one of the best things for me as far as therapy is just getting out here and working on my property because it gives me a sense of accomplishment. And I know that, it'll pay dividends one day for me, where I don't trust the economy anymore. I don't trust the government anymore. Not anymore. I did trust them to some degree, a little bit. And you know, I'll admit some of my faults right here. One of my big faults is that when Trump got elected, I stopped watching politics for like at least 6 or 8 months. I just couldn't take it. You know, I get tired of it. It's not really my passion. It's not politics. I don't like being angered all the time. You know, it's like that scene from The Matrix where the dude, I can't remember his name, the bald-headed guy, he decides he wants to be plugged back into the Matrix. And of course, the Matrix was a representation of the lie. You know, the lie that they pull over everybody's eyes every day, right? There's a lot of really good things about the Matrix, as far as the first one anyways. And anyways, the one bald-headed dude, you know, all he wanted to do was go back to ignorant bliss. And you know, there's some truth to that. And I think a lot of Americans, I mean, I'm worried the majority of Americans are living in ignorant bliss. And one of the best things I've ever heard, and as far as I know, she came up with it. I don't know if that's true or not, but the first person I ever heard say it was Chris Ann Hall said, Americans are too drunk on comfort to do anything. We're drunk on comfort. Think about that. Anything you want, instant gratification. They've handed you a system, a matrix. And all you have to do is choose to unplug from it. And I'm not saying unplug from the internet or never get on the internet or bury your head in the sand like an ostrich. No, no, no. What I'm saying is, you know, learn to do more for yourself. Learn to be more self-reliant. They can't control you. The more self-reliant you are, the less government can control you. The less, you know, and Thomas Jefferson knew that. He said something to that effect, that basically he wanted everybody to be a small farmer, a little micro farmer. That way there'd be a lot of trade going on, and it'd be harder, if not impossible, for the government to tax that trade, because you could trade fairly and freely with your neighbors and you could set the terms. Wouldn't have anything to do with the federal government or the state government. Of course, they'd figure out a way to insert themselves like they always do. But my point is that Jefferson wanted everybody to be a little micro farmer so that, you know, you wouldn't have, he knew that when you rely on other people for your food, they have a level of power and control over you. Even though they may not exercise that power right now, they may one day. So, anyways, guys, it's been a little rambly, but I'm just on a woods walk, just kind of processing my thoughts, and I'm really bummed out about the stimulus deal. And not that I wanted the money. I don't want any of the money. I want them to keep that money and use it for something else and not tax me this next year. Just let me keep my tax money from 2020. Forgive me of that. Forget about sending me money. You know, are there people out there that need some sort of help or something? Yeah, probably so, but that should be done on a state level, voluntarily, preferably by, you know, the community and the churches and stuff like that around those people. Don't make some guy from Kansas pay for the Californians' decisions. They're poor decisions. In fact, California's already paying for those poor decisions on their own, and New York, because there's a massive exodus out of there. Pretty soon the producers are going to be outnumbered so greatly over there. There's not going to be enough producers, as far as, you know, people that are willing to do business in states like that have cracked down so far, that, you know, they'll eventually self-destruct. There's talk of them wanting to break off and form their own country. Now, if that means like Northern California forms their own state or whatever, I'd be totally cool with that, because I hear there's a lot of conservatives, a lot more way up in Northern California. But as far as the rest of it, the city parts, no. Let them go. That might be the best thing ever. Just be like, okay, yeah, California, you want to go? Go. You're no longer part of the union. We'll just print out a whole bunch. And think about the flag industry. That'd put a lot of people to work making 49 state flags. Or, you know, maybe we'll bring Puerto Rico in to replace California. Hell, that'd probably be a big upgrade. So there's lots of options out there. or there were, until the government spent us into oblivion anyways. I hope you got your stuff together. I hope you're stocked up. I hope you're prepared, not only physically, mentally, with your food, your ammo, your water storage, but I hope you're also prepared spiritually, because it's feeling more and more of a spiritual event all the time. Good versus evil, right versus wrong. And it seems lately that evil's winning. So hang in there, guys. Jesus' birthday, supposedly, even though it really wasn't his birthday, but supposedly that's the time we celebrate, for Jesus' birthday. That's coming up. And Merry Christmas to you guys. Thank you for hanging in there with the channel. Until then, we'll see you next time.